Okay, so I want to talk about the Neilsen 4-piece drive adapter set. That comes, you can zoom in a little bit more, comes in 1/4 inch to 3/8, 3/8 to 1/4 inch, 3/8 to 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch to 3/8. Now, you won't be able to put a 1/2 inch on a 1/4 inch drive. I think in common sense we know that it's a 1/2 inch drive is more of a bigger, more hefty system than the 1/4 inch anyway, and you don't want to end up chewing up the end. Now, there is a way around that. Obviously, you can connect one of the adapters in the pack to another one of the adapters and then put your socket on the end if you do want to do that. And if it is a smaller 1/2 inch socket, you could probably get away with that. But the larger, more hefty, more when you have to give more torque to a socket, to a particular nut or fastener, as you say in America, you don't really want to be doing it with the higher range, well, the higher up the scale size anyway. Now, I've been hearing a few good things about Neilsen tools on the budget. The code for these obviously is get a good zoom macro there, C22607 for the code number. Now, I was after some adapters. Now, usually I'd buy something like Draper Expert range or Brittle or something like that, good quality, something that as being good quality. But I've heard a lot of good things going around about some of the Neilsen stuff for a bit less, for the price of 2 of these packs. Obviously, the same kind of price I'd be paying for one set of a Draper Expert or something like that. So I thought I'd give them a go, and we'll see if they're any good. Obviously, I'll get a set to kit the garage out with at the same time as my toolbox for me quick grab wall socket section on there. Now I've put just a little cut along the top there, because at the minute, until I get another rail to connect, another rail to connect stuff to, they'll obviously be hanging up, or the one in the garage will be hanging up, and you can get them out and pop them back in again as and when you want. Now, obviously that's until I get the rail, then they'll be stuck in on the rail just like the sockets would be. Now, as you can see, it's a polished plated finish on there, chrome vanadium. You can look inside, it's got the chrome vanadium written on there as well. So they're not some cheaper stuff. High carbon steel is usually what a lot of the cheaper stuff is made from. Saying that, a lot of that isn't that bad actually. You'll be quite surprised. You get your ball bearing on there. This one, they're not actually individually stamped with the information what's down along there, so obviously you'll have to take a guess at that. That's obviously a 1/2 inch to a 3/8, I think that is. Obviously, if you don't know what an adapter, or some people call it a step down or a step up set is, basically that would allow me to use this particular socket here, would allow me to use a 1/2 inch ratchet, which would fit in there obviously, to drive 3/8 size sockets, and obviously the other ones will allow other combinations. So this one here, by the look of it, will do the opposite. This will allow me to drive a 3/8 ratchet this side, but I'll be able to connect to a 1/2 inch socket and use the 1/2 inch sockets on there. That's good if you've got a 3/8 ratchet and haven't got the size that you would like in that range of sockets. So you could borrow a socket from a 1/2 inch set what you have, where you have got that particular size, or the other way around, you could borrow it from the 1/4 inch size what you haven't got. Another good thing is 3/8 is a bit of a weird size for sockets and ratchets anyway. Most companies usually omit the 3/8 and just have a little 1/4 inch drive with a bigger 1/2 inch, because the range for a 3/8 set is usually somewhere in between anyway. So you'd usually go from something like on a 1/4 inch from like a 4 millimeters up to a 13 or a 14, and then the 1/2 inch would take over from there anyway. So it'd start on like a 13 or a 14 and then move up to 30-32. So the 3/8 would be again somewhere around that median mark between the two. So a lot of people think, well, what's the point in a 3/8? But a 3/8 ratchet is usually a bit longer and a bit more torquier than, obviously the drive is a bit bigger and a bit more stronger than a 1/4 inch. But what it does allow you to do is use them same sizes in that middle range as what you would do with a 1/4 inch, but you'd have a more stronger, more torquier, longer ratchet, and you'd have a less bulky and less immobile ratchet, because it'd be smaller and thinner than using those sizes with the 1/2 inch size socket. So you could get in better, more space. You know, you could get, whereas a 1/2 inch socket driving say a 13mm nut in a confined space would be more of a pain than using a 13mm nut, a socket to drive a 13mm nut with a 3/8, should we say, which would be a middle ground. And whereas using the 1/4 inch one would be possible, but it would probably be more of because it's a lot smaller, it would be more of an effort to you know, get that securely tightened up. So sometimes there is still a place for a 3/8, but it's very rare that you would need it over the other two. That's usually why companies omit it. Some of them keep the 1/4 inch and the 3/8 set, and omit the bigger 1/2 inch and just use the 3/8 as the bigger one. But to be honest with you, it's not when you've got to do some real heavy duty you know, wrenching or whatever you want to call it, the bigger drive of a 1/2 inch is always better than any of the other size drives that you can get, in my opinion. Obviously it's just bigger and more robust. We'll have a look at some of the other sizes in here. We've got here, we've got, what's that, a 3/8 drive to 1/4 inch. And a 1/4 inch step up to 3/8. So like I say, you obviously haven't got a 1/4 inch step up to a bigger 1/2 inch, because that'd probably be for a lot of for the smaller sockets. Yeah, you could get away with it. That'd be fine in the same similar sizes that the 1/4 and the 3/8 would all be using anyway. But when you get higher up the millimeter socket size scale, you know, the more heavy duty stuff, you'd probably chew up the end of your 1/4 inch ratchet. It probably wouldn't really be you know, good enough for that. But using these adapters, there is a way to get around that. Obviously here you've got your 1/4 inch, no, what's that, your 3/8 sorry, inch to 1/2 inch, and your 1/4 to 3/8. So in theory those two could combine. If we can just get that in there. In theory these two would be able to combine like so, and you've now got an adapter from a 1/4 inch up to a 1/2 inch by combining both of those adapters together. So that's a good little tip, but I wouldn't use it, like I say, with the bigger sockets, just the smaller, around the 13 to 15 size 1/2 inch sockets, because you end up with the bigger sockets and the bigger nuts and bolts are designed to drive. You're going to need to put more torque into them, and the 1/4 inch size drive just doesn't really have it, in my opinion. But it is possible to do that with just by using the two of the adapters there. So all in all, they don't look too bad, a little set. Obviously you have to go by eye from what they're going to be adapting to and from, like I've just showed you, because even though it's written down on the pack, they're not you've got the chrome vanadium on there, but you haven't got the telling you what they're going to and from. So I mean, it's not hard. You should know that a medium sized socket is a 3/8, a small size socket is a 1/4 inch drive, and the big or the massive one is a 1/2 inch. Now there is a bigger, even bigger drive than a 1/2 inch, which is a 3/4. That's more like for like truck use and things like that, so you don't generally usually see that, but that's not included in here anyway. But so, you know, it's fairly easy to gauge which one does what and which and why, just by looking at the size of the input and the output on the adapters themselves. And like I say, you can make your own by joining the two there. You can make your own adapter on that. You could even though there's already one to go from a 1/4 to a 3/8 already, but you could even use that one again to go back down again, as stupid as that might seem. But you know, it's possible to use the smaller sizes of the 1/2 inch by doing that. Now Neilsen themselves, as you can see the logo there, Neilsen, doesn't it was hard to find their website. They don't actually have the website under the name Neilsen. They're actually under the name of Canon Tools at www.canontools. Can we get a zoom on there? Canon Tools .co.uk. If we can get a macro on there, I don't know. But anyway, their website kind of looks like that. Canon is the main parent company, I suppose, and Neilsen's the brand name that they use for their tools. You can see there you got all the screwdrivers, bits, ratchet sockets, spanners and pliers, automotive, engineering, the electrical equipment, building, gardening, and the storage, and then they've got the home leisure stuff. I think they also do some kind of mini like monkey bike things and all that, and all sorts of industrial generators and things there as well. So there's a few things that they do. They do obviously, like I said, power tools as well, and the electrical equipment and power tools down here. So there's a few stuff to look at on their site. Like I say, I've heard a few decent things about their stuff, so I thought I'd give it a go. So that's that, the Neilsen four-piece drive adapter set.